Hello and welcome to Berlin's 96 localities. Today from Westend. Well, you can already see one of the main attractions in the background. It's the Olympic Stadium. And when I came here, there were a few thoughts in my head. First of all, I realized that there is West End here in Berlin, but no East End or North End or South End, which is funny. And then I also thought about that there's much to see here, and this is what I'm really looking forward to, because besides the Olympic ground, which by itself is a huge area and quite interesting, there's the exhibition ground and the former International Congress Center, which is also, really impressive. And then there's also a huge construction site right now because, well, Berlin has a little problem with its bridges. They are in a miserable state, and one of them is currently reconstructed, and there's huge traffic jam every day. So we'll also check out the construction site a little later. But now let's start with the Olympic ground, and have a nice tour with me. Let's go. Well, I'm starting my tour here at Coubertinplatz, and he was the founder, and he had the idea for the Olympic Games, and in honor of him they named this square over here after him. And well, he died actually 1 year after the Olympic Games, which took place in 1936. That is a long time ago. And you can maybe, if you're familiar with architectural history, you can already see a little bit the style. Well, I told you that this is from 1936 Olympic Games. So there was during the Nazi times, and well, their idea of architecture you will find all over the place here on this ground. And over there are two towers. And well, there's much to say here, but let's go back for a second, because there was something which I also saw before. There's information here about the history of the square and the area, but the problem is, and I think this will not be the last time to see it. You can see all those stickers. Well, Hertha, one of the two big clubs here in Berlin, is playing his home games in the Olympic Stadium. And there are, of course, also a lot of away fans, groundhoppers, and so on and so on. So, unfortunately, not much to see here from this information panel. But I think there should be other information panels around. And even if not, I think there will be a little bit that I can tell you about it. So let's proceed. Well, so this is the view from the Eastern Gate. And you can see the Olympic rings. So this is a bit more impressive than what I've shown you before. Unfortunately, there is also a wall around the stadium itself. So I can't get too close today. But I will check my footage from the past, and I'm quite sure that I might find one or two photos from that time. I've attended a few football matches and some other events. That was also quite nice. A few years ago I participated in a run where we would start here on this square with a few thousand people and then go a couple of kilometers all around this Olympic ground. And the finish would be inside the stadium. That was a cool feeling. So I found another information panel. This one luckily has no stickers over it. You can get an impression of what it looked like, and you can also see that something has changed and something not so much. And when I said that it's a nice place, well, it's majorly because of the present and the events that I attended, not so much of the past. Of course, the Nazis instrumentalized the Olympic Games for propaganda reasons and so on and so on. Well, that would be another topic. This is not just about the Olympic Games here in Berlin. It's about Westend. So what I thought would be a nice park is actually a cemetery, and it's not allowed to do any filming on the cemetery, which I absolutely respect. There are some well-known people buried over there. There's a list that I briefly checked, and I think the best known person is also the last one that was buried, who got a Ehrengrab, which you can translate as Graveyard of Honor, and that's Loriot, a comedian who died in 2011. So yeah, the cemetery Heerstraße is huge and it looks quite nice. I'm a bit sad that I can't go over there and make use of the shadow of the trees. But well, I think there will be other interesting things to see. And oh, actually, yeah, let's see this one. Wanderweg zum Grunewald. So, hiking trail to Grunewald. Well, that might be interesting. I think, yeah, I might take this route. And let's see where it will end. Yeah, to the right you have a fence here, and behind that fence there is the cemetery, and as I mentioned, it's huge. And on the left hand side there is a railway line, yeah, and in front of it there are some Schrebergärten, so small gardens for residents from this area, and it's a nice day, I guess, to spend it in such a garden. And I will keep going here on this trail. In the meantime, I have arrived at Theodor-Heuss-Platz. So I walked along Heerstraße, which is really big and quite crowded with cars, but also interesting to see a bit of this architecture. Well, here this square, Theodor-Heuss-Platz, is named after a former president, and well, basically what you can't see in this footage is that it is just a huge traffic island. So cars are going all around this square, which makes it a bit difficult to actually access this square. And of course the quality of staying here is limited because it's quite noisy with cars all around. Well, this is one of the many entrances here of the exhibition ground in Berlin, and the area is really huge. It contains several halls and well, some free spaces in between. And I think the best known exhibitions taking place there are the Internationale Funkausstellung, so the International Broadcasting or Broadcasting Equipment exhibition, where they usually show like the latest smart TV devices and stuff like that. And then there is the Grüne Woche, so the Green Week, which is usually in February, and this is all about agriculture and food. And people from all over the country, or also international guests, go there and yeah, have a good time or do some work. Well, so I will walk around a bit here and try not to melt from the sun at this time. Well, I could have guessed that as there is nothing going on, it is not possible to access the ground, and the whole exhibition ground, of course, is guarded by security, and so I need to respect that. But currently it doesn't look so great here anyway, as I think there is a lot of construction work going on. They do have a TV tower, a tall one, not to be confused with the TV tower at Alexanderplatz, which is in the east. This one in the west is also called Funkturm. so broadcasting tower. But yeah, until November there's construction work going on, so the restaurant and the nice view from up there are not accessible. And behind me you can see, by the way, another entrance to the exhibition ground. This one is east. And yeah, this whole building ensemble here is, the architecture is quite different from what you've seen before, whereas it was a lot older. Here it's from the 70s or maybe 80s, and it looks a lot more futuristic, you could say. But well, I think a lot needs to be done to make it shiny again. And currently it is sort of, it looks a bit like a lost place or abandoned, and which is valid for the International Congress Center on the other side of the street. Over there, this huge futuristic building that looks like a spaceship is also under construction, and for many years now nothing has been going on over there. And I wonder how this will turn out, because it was a very expensive building. But yeah, I need to check actually what is the current state of it. And I will show you some footage that I've captured here, because it looks really interesting, you know, this spaceshipy thing. Well, I got to admit that I discovered a few buildings at the exhibition ground that were a lot newer than the ones that I saw previously. Especially there is a new building called City Cube, and I think there was also something going on, maybe something of a developers convention or so. Yeah, so this area is just so huge that it's hard to tell what's going on where. I have continued my tour in the meantime, and I have arrived at a another historical place, to be honest. This is where I am currently standing. Doesn't look too special, but this is actually part of a former racetrack, the Avus. This is a racetrack that was installed in the first half of the 20th century, and it was pretty much just one straight in one direction and then back in the other direction, with two large bends, both at north and at south. So yeah, not the most exciting racetrack. There were a few races, but well, in the end there were more exciting racetracks elsewhere. So Berlin hasn't seen a race at this Avus track anymore. But there is still the grandstands in that direction. Well, you will pretty much just see the sun right now. But those grandstands, I think there has been done some refurbishment. Maybe, I don't know if there are any plans of using it. At the backside it looks as if they are renting some of those spaces below the grandstands. I don't know. But I had a little break here, had a little snack. There is a motel, also something you won't find too often anymore here in Berlin or elsewhere in Germany, those motels. But they had delicious food, so I'm now powerful to continue my tour. Despite this labyrinth of navigation, I actually found this bridge, which you can see it has partly been torn down already, and this is, I think, the access from the Avus to the A100, and now all the cars have to take an alternative road, probably over there, and yeah, it looks like a little traffic jam. Very unfortunate for everyone. And this is not really like the most blooming area, but I'm getting closer to an S-Bahn station at least. Yeah, I have arrived at Westkreuz, a station similar to Südkreuz or Ostkreuz, but in this case rather old with all those buildings, while the other two have been renewed in the last years. And this is still part of Westend, but at the very border. So I passed pretty much through all of the locality today. And yeah, despite there's a lot more probably that you could discover, I hope that I showed you a few interesting places. And yeah, for me it was interesting, but now it's really time, because of the heat and the sun, to go back somewhere inside. Thank you for watching this episode and hope to see you soon again. Take care. Cheers.